Hello, today I will be talking about the history of the Cecil Hotel. This is the first video of a two-video series about the disappearance of Elisa Lam and the history of the Cecil Hotel. This 14-floor, 700-room hotel, called the Cecil Hotel, might seem like a normal hotel, but it has a deep, dark history. The Cecil Hotel was known for their very cheap rooms, ranging at about $50 or less a night, and in the 70s and 80s ranging at about $4 a night. But this is not the only thing it's known for. The hotel opened December 20th, 1924, and it is also well known for the multiple deaths that occurred there. The hotel was closed in 2017 due to the last death that took place there, the one that many know as the Elisa Lam case. The hotel was first built by William Banks Hanner, Charles L. Dix, and Robert H. Scops. It was supposed to be a destination hotel for international businessmen and social elites. But because of the affordable rooms, this was open to many travelers and tourists, but also criminals. This was very popular in the Great Depression, as many Americans were fired or unemployed, and the hotel was very affordable. As many as 10,000 homeless people lived within the 4-mile radius of the hotel, which was called the Skid Row. The Skid Row has existed for many years with thousands of homeless people, and for a long time, police were guarding around Skid Row. Skid Row has existed for many years with thousands of homeless people along a 4-mile radius. For a long time, people were guarding Skid Row, not allowing people that lived there to leave, almost as they weren't able to get better. This attracted many more people to the Cecil. Many had seen the Cecil as just a cheap apartment, trying to stay there for as long as possible and for as cheap as possible. So they made about $2.5 million in enterprise, as it cost $1.5 million to build, which was a lot back then. In 2007, a portion of the hotel was refurbished after the new owners took over from there. In 2011, a part of the Cecil Hotel was rebranded as Stay on Main. There were 2 hotels in the same complex. There were 2 floors to long-term residents, 2 to Stay on Main, and 7 above were to the Cecil. Stay on Main was newly renovated with new floors, new bed sheets, new sinks, and more. Stay on Main cost more money than the Cecil. They even managed to make 2 separate hotel lobbies. It was shocking the way that people dressed walking into the Cecil and Stay on Main. Elisa Lam online booked to go to Stay on Main, but when she found out she was staying at the Cecil Hotel. The hotel closed in 2017 due to renovation, but the work was suspended indefinitely when COVID-19 pandemic hit and due to the deaths. Warning: death, blood, and suicide. The first death that occurred there, and also the first suicide was at the Cecil, was on the evening of January 22nd, 1927, when Percy Almond, the cook, who was 52, shot himself in the head when inside his hotel room after falling to recompense with his wife and child. November 19th, 1931, there was another suicide. His name was W.K. Norton, and at the age of 46, W.K. Norton was found dead in his room after ingesting poison capsules. A week prior, he had checked into the Cecil under the name of James Willings from Chicago. September 1932, Benjamin Deutsch died to yet another suicide at the age of 25. This was due to a gunshot in the head. The maid found Deutsch dead from a self-inflicted gunshot and wound to the head. He did not leave a suicide note. Sergeant Louis D. Borden died July 26, 1934 to do another suicide as a slit in the throat. In late July, former Army Medical Corps Sergeant Borden was found dead in his room at the Cecil. He had slashed his throat with a razor. Borden left several notes, which one-sided poor health as the reason for his suicide. Grace E. Margot died March 1937 at the age of 25 as she fell from the Cecil building. Margot fell from a 9th-story window. Her fall was broken by telephone wires which were wrapped around her body. Later she died at the now demolished Georgia Street Recovering Hospital. Police were unable to determine whether Margot's death was a result of an accident or suicide. In January 1938, Roy Thomason, at the age of 35, fell from the Cecil building. Thomason jumped from the Cecil's top floor and was found on a skylight of a neighboring building. He had been staying at the Cecil for several weeks. Erwin C. Nelbert ingested poison May 1939. Navy officer Nelbert was found dead in his room after ingesting poison. January 1940, Dorothy Seeger, at the age of 45, ingested poison. Teacher Seeger, who registered under the name Evelyn Brent, ingested poison January 10th, 1940, while staying at the Cecil, and was reported by the Los Angeles Times to be near death beforehand. Seeger sent her relatives notes indicating that she was going to end her life. Dorothy eventually succumbed to the effects of poisoning and passed away at the General Hospital on January 12, 1940. A newborn sadly passed away September 1944 by murder. His mother, which murdered him by the name of Dorothy Jean Purcell, threw her son out of a window after she went into labor at the Cecil, and she had thought that her son was dead, and he had landed on an abandoned building roof. 3 psychiatrists testified that she was mentally confused at the time of the incident, and in January 1945, she was found not guilty by the reasoning of insanity. Robert Smith died November 1947 from falling from a building. Smith died after jumping from one of the Cecil's 7th floor windows. October 22, 1954, Herlin Gree, at the age of 55, fell from a building. Stationery firm employee Gurney jumped from the window of her 7th room floor and landed on top of the Cecil's Marquee. 1 week prior, she had registered at the hotel under the name of Margaret Brown. Julia Frances Moore, at the age of 50, died February 11, 1962. Moore jumped from the window of her 8th floor room and landed on a second-story interior light well. She did not leave a suicide note. Among her possessions were a bus ticket from St. Louis, 59 cents in change, and an Illinois bank book showing that she had a balance of $1,800. October 12, 1962, Polly Otten and George Gianni, at the age of 27 and 65, fell from a building. Otten jumped from the window of her 9th-story room after an argument with her estranged husband, Dewey. He had left the room prior to Otten's suicide. Otten landed on a pedestrian, Gianni, killing both of them instantly. There were no witnesses. Police initially thought that Otten and Gianni committed suicide together. However, it was soon determined that Gianni had his hands in his pockets at the time of his death. He was still wearing shoes. If he had jumped, his shoes would have likely fallen off upon impact, and his hands would have not been in his pockets. On December 20th, 1975, Allison Lowy, approximately 23, from Building A, still unidentified woman, jumped from her 12th-story window onto the Cecil's 2nd floor roof. She had registered under the hotel on December 16th under the name of Allison Lowell and was staying in room 327. September 1st, 1992, a still unidentified person fell from the building. A body of an African-American man was found behind the alley behind the Cecil. Police say that he had either fallen, jumped, or been pushed from the hotel's 15th floor. The 20 to 30-year-old male has still never been identified. There are about 10 more deaths that took place here, but I don't believe I have time for that. Here are some fun facts about the hotel that I have. The hotel was an inspiration for an American Horror Story, and due to all the mysteries that happened there. 2. According to Kenneth Gibbons, a former long-term resident of the Cecil, anything higher than the 6th floor was dangerous. 3. The hotel is closed right now, but it could reopen. It closed in 2019, mostly due to the pandemic. If it gets better, renovation could reopen. 4. There's been many ghost sightings there. 5. There was a very famous death at the Cecil by the name of Elisa Lamb. 6. Within the last 10 years of the hotel stayed open, there were thousands of 911 calls. And lastly, 7. There are about 1 to 3 911 calls each day. Thank you for watching my video. My credits are to Wikipedia with the Elisa Lam site, also the documentary Crimes at the Cecil that is on Netflix, and also if you were to search up the Cecil Hotel, the very first link is there. I will note all of these in the description. Thank you.